I'm here to represent our group 20, uh, to demo our Defend Your Draft with AI supported review. We are facing a crisis of cognitive outsourcing to AI. Recent research shows that users mostly copy and paste answers from large language models. This behavior pattern, when we look at students' interaction with generative AI, is the most common. They ask a prompt and copy paste the answers. This isn't just an academic integrity issue, it's a cognitive one. A study from MIT Media Lab, Your Brain on ChatGPT, I'm not sure how many of you have heard that, shows that relying on AI for our writing tasks actively affects our brain functions and neural pathways. There is a critical need for appropriate writing tools that scaffold students' writing. Specifically, our target audience is students in K-12 and higher education seeking to improve their argumentative writing skills. Admittedly, many people face the same problem. However, we prioritize this group of population because they are developing their argumentative skills. When we look at the market research for such writing support, we see a huge gap. Tools like Grammarly focus purely on lower order syntax. If you look at the screenshot, you can see they focus on clarity issues. On the other end, generative AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, they either endorse our writing brainlessly or kind of generate the final text for us and return to that copy and paste behavior. Neither approach actually teaches the rigorous skill of argumentative writing. What might be the solution for this? Instead of a system that answers, we need one that asks and shifts the cognitive burden back to students. We want to introduce Prober.ai, a tool that requires you to defend your draft with an AI-supported review. It's entirely question-based with necessary cognitive scaffolding to help students succeed. You might be curious, is this another chatbot that wraps an API of larger language models? We grounded our tools in prior empirical educational research. The AI's evaluation rubric is firmly grounded in Turing's argumentation theory, ensuring rigorous evaluation of claims, warrants, and evidence. The question mechanism engages students cognitively as evidenced by prior feedback research among humans. We also refer to up-to-date AI-supported feedback in students' writing work. Then we might be curious, how does AI process users' input and ask these questions? Let's look at the inside system structure. The first component is the argument parsing layer, which focuses on identifying components of argumentation. Next, we have feature detection, which highlights linguistic and structural issues in the text. The epistemic state classifier assesses the depth of reasoning and clarity of concepts in the essay. And trigger prioritization helps manage cognitive load by ranking the top issues. Finally, the question module selector generates inquiry-based questions to facilitate future exploration of the essay content. Within inquiry-based questions, we designed the AI to interact in two distinct tones. The critical reviewer two. A reviewer two is usually used to refer to the harsh reviewer in the academic publication. Here, they are who challenge the logic gap of the writing and also confuse the reader who points out those flow issues. Then combining these two tones creates authentic feedback from experts and also general audience. Let's look at our demo here.
Welcome to the demo of Prober.ai. Once you're ready, you can choose between the two tones that are available. Let's try out Reviewer 2 first. It will see from an expert level perspective and challenge your logic. This sample is about driverless car. The author argued that we should stop developing driverless car immediately because they are dangerous. Let's see what Reviewer 2 said. These four are categories that we identified address different aspects of argumentative writing. Reviewer 2 recognized the logic gap of the claim. Here, the user admitted and plan to revise on that. Let's see what will happen if students ask for a shortcut directly. Reviewer 2 rejected and questioned about the thinking behind the student's writing. Student explained in a meaningful way, and reviewer to agree with that. Let's see the other tone. which is confused reader. It will ask about clarification and help co-construct. Use the same sample. Confused reader is helping brainstorming with the user's idea on safety tools. And the user replied, they are involved in a collaborative conversation.
Mhm. To sum up, as shown in our demo, we designed the user loop to enhance writing skills through an iterative process. Users engaging in a cycle that includes writing, being challenged, defending their work, and improving it. Two tones of inquiry-based questions help challenge users and inspire their critical thinking, and cognitive scaffolding plays a crucial role in guiding users through this process. Because our tool focuses on questioning rather than generating, it enables flexible implementation. For individual use, Prober is an independent interactive writing environment for K-12 students working on their ELA assignments. A middle or high schooler writing an essay at home can use the tool to stress test their thesis and supporting evidence at their own pace. For classroom use, it transformed the formative assessment process. Instead of a teacher spending time writing marginal comments that students might ignore, educators can integrate Prober as a reflection step before final submission and make the invisible cognitive work of revision visible and gradable. If students use Gen AI anyways, why don't use system asks? Building the tool is the only first phase. Our next step is to conduct design-based research with it. This project is designed to make sense of learners' feedback interaction with AI. We want to observe exactly how a questioning mechanism alters students' interaction with generative tools. We plan to obtain IRB approval after this hackathon to conduct the initial data collection. As we scale this phase, we are also seeking potential collaboration with educators and researchers who want to explore this shift in scaffolding students' writing. Next step will be the reference, and I also want to thank our amazing team members for bringing this pedagogical vision to life. And now, thank you so much. It's time for you to probe us.
I'm curious what you think about student engagement and motivation. So if they're, already inclined to just use existing AI tools like ChatGPT to copy and paste and get their response, what would make them less inclined to use that and more inclined to use this if they have this as an option?
Oh, this is a great question, actually. I think because this is sort of related to students' inner motivation. For example, if we use online learning as an example, we always care about students who in the online classroom, we care about their engagement. We force students to do various activities to kind of retain their engagement. However, there are always a group of students that kind of go directly to kind of do not attend class, and we cannot control that part of students, but we are actually helping students who really want to improve their writing with generative tools.
I think that makes sense. But as you think about your audience,
Mhm.
I would be very careful about who can access this, who is it designed for, and how to be more inclusive and maybe how can this address intrinsic motivation for students who are struggling, who are not already motivated, just as you
Mm,
continue to design.
yeah, thank you so much for this question. Yeah, but I guess that's a kind of next step.
Mhm, mhm.
How do you think about the quality and type of feedback that you plan to give here? Writing can be very subjective. So I'm curious what sort of controls and scaffolding you are thinking about and can control behind the model and the AI that's outputting the feedback here.
Yeah, as I mentioned, we kind of integrate that two-means argumentation theory into the layers. So first, we separate students' essays into based on NLP and also generative language models. We separate students' paragraphs into sentences and identify which sentence is a claim, which one is an evidence, and we ask AI to evaluate whether this claim is well grounded or whether this evidence is supported, is kind of directly related to that claim, as well. Is there any other alternative explanation related to that? And we can also suggest students to add that alternative suggestion.
Thanks.
Mhm.
All right, great job, team.